Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamu alaikum, girls. Yesterday, we completed our tenses that we started a couple of weeks before. Like it was the end of the tenses that we did the future indefinite, future continuous, future perfect continuous, and future perfect, right? And today, girls, I am going to do few of the terminologies that are used in English language sentence. Although from the examination point of view, nothing of this sort is included in your final exams, right? But these things are very much necessary to know because if you know these terms, definitely you will be able to understand the structure of English language, right? Moreover, when you have to do the error analysis in your final examinations or the correction of errors that you generally call, these things will definitely help you to resolve that issue, right? In today's lecture, definitely you will be able to understand few things, few terms and few terminologies that are generally used in English language, but because of a lack of knowledge and because of the lack of the time that we open the dictionary and we open the any of the book and solve out what does this particular thing means, we do not understand it till at the very high levels. Let's start it with Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. First of all, we will start with the pronoun. Definitely, you will be amazed that what teacher is going to tell us. Pronoun is something which all of you are familiar with and which is something that you people come across in almost all of the tenses. Pronoun is something which is very easy. Pronoun, what is pronoun? Pronoun are those words that are used instead of noun. Okay? Pronoun are those words that are used instead of noun, right? This is something very childish, in fact, but you should know. There are something others related to pronoun which normally you do not know regarding the sentences. Now, what is pronoun? Pronoun are those words that are used instead of noun. And what is their function? They are usually used to avoid repetition. They are usually used to avoid repetition in the English language, right? Now, coming to what are demonstrative pronouns. When you divide a sentence into its parts of speech, then there are certain words which are used in English language or in sentence which you normally do not know to which category or parts of speech they belong, right? For example, this, that, these, those, these are the words that normally you do not know to which parts of speech these words belong. Now, demonstrative pronouns are those pronouns that they point to a noun, right? It means all the words, for example, all the words for example, they are this, that, these, those. They are the best dressers and they used to point a noun. They used to point a noun. They used to point a noun, right? These are called demonstrative pronouns. These are called, what are these? These are called demonstrative pronouns, right? Hopefully you get it. Now, coming to the next slide, there are certain words that are used in the English sentence, and obviously sometimes you do not know again to which category belong. A pronoun that refers to a non-specific person or a thing, they are known as indefinite pronoun. It means the thing to which this pronoun has pointed, that is not specific, right? That is not it can be a general thing, it can be anyone, or it isn't something special. And the words which are used as indefinite pronouns, this is the list of those pronouns which are indefinite pronouns. For example, all, another, any, anybody, anyone, both, each, either, everybody, everyone, everything, few, many, neither, nobody, none, no one, nothing, one, some, somebody, someone, something, right? These are the words which are also pronoun. They belong to the subcategory of the indefinite pronoun, right? For example, the anyone who gambles is crazy. Everybody dance now, right? Here anyone is, what is this? This is a pronoun. Everybody, this is also a pronoun, right? Now coming to the third category, that is intensive or reflexive pronoun. Pronoun ending in self, myself, yourself, himself, herself, ourselves, yourselves, themselves. It often names the receiver of an action, right? It means that those pronouns in which self is added at the end, right? Those pronouns in which self is added at the end, they are known as reflexive pronouns. For example, myself, yourself, himself, herself, etc. For example, did you hurt yourself? Here yourself is what? Yourself is objective as far as the sentence structure is concerned, and it is to which part of speech this belong. This is a pronoun. Obviously, she calls herself a singer, but she cannot carry a tune. Herself is what? Herself is a pronoun. She is also pronoun. Singer is noun. Here she is again noun. Cannot is a helping verb. Carry is a verb. Tune is a object here, right? Now coming to the next slide. Here interrogative pronouns. Interrogative pronouns are those pronouns that are used to ask a question in the English sentence. They are used to ask a question in the sentence. For example, who, whom, whose, which, what. They are also known as WH factor. WH factor, with WH factor you normally or generally ask question in the English sentence. What happened a day a work today? What happened at work today? What is a interrogative pronoun? Happened is a verb. At work is noun, is being used here as noun. Which film did you see? Which is pronoun. Film is subject or noun. Did is helping verb. See is verb, and you is again pronoun, right? Then personal pronouns are there. Pronouns used to refer to a specific person or a thing, right? These personal pronouns are those pronouns which are used to refer to specific person or a thing. For example, I, me, you, she, her, me, mine, yours, her, hers, his, its, our, ours, their, theirs. This is the list which belongs to the category of personal pronouns. For example, she bores me with her tedious childhood stories. Like she is pronoun here. Bores is used as a verb. Me is pronoun. With is preposition. Her is again pronoun. Tedious is adjective. Childhood is noun. Stories is object, right? Here in this way you can dissect a English sentence into a different parts of speech, and definitely then afterwards it will be easy for you to understand it and obviously to correct it. Now what are the possessive pronouns? There are certain words which are used here. They are also pronoun, but you do not know to which category they belong. For example, my, mine, yours, hers, his, its, ours, yours, theirs. These are possessive pronouns, right? Now coming relative pronoun. One of the following is used to introduce an adjective clause. They are known as relative pronoun. For example, who, whom, whose, which, and that, right? These are the pronouns which comes into the category of relative pronouns. Who, whom, whose, which, and that, right? Now coming to the next slide, helping verbs. Now girls, most of the time you come across in when you are learning grammar there are helping verbs and there are main verbs and there are verbs, right? What are the helping verbs? Helping verbs are also called auxiliary verbs, right girls? This must be something new to you, or perhaps you might be confused when someone says कि what are the auxiliary verbs and what are the verbs. Auxiliary verbs are basically the helping verbs. Auxiliaries are basically the helping verbs, and helping verb always precede the main verbs. This is something that you must need to know कि helping verbs normally or specifically cannot used alone, right? Helping verbs cannot be used alone. They are always preceded by the verb, right? It means कि verb and helping verbs are combined together to complete an action. And as we have done the tenses, you must be knowing till now कि verbs and helping verbs are the words in any sentence which define the tense, which define the time span to which a part of time this sentence structure belongs, right? Helping verb are also called auxiliary verbs, and helping verbs are always preceded by main verb. It means कि helping verb can be used alone, but helping verb cannot be used alone. Is it clear? Verbs can be used alone, but helping verb cannot be used alone. You have to use a verb along with the helping verbs, right? There are a lot of helping verbs that you have used in your all of your tenses. For example, be, am, is, am, are, was, were, being, been, has, have, had, and this is the list which you could see, right? Now coming to the gerund. What is gerund? This is also something this word is also very familiar with you people when you use the grammatical terms. But when we normally ask from the student what a gerund is, they normally do not know why this term for which this term is being used in sentence. Gerund is basically a verb ending in ing and used as a noun. It means the fourth form of the verb, first form of verb plus ing. This we always also call fourth form of the word, fourth form of the verb. Now fourth form of the verb will be used as noun. When fourth form of the verb will be used as noun, then it will be called gerund, right? When fourth form of the verb will be used as a verb, then it will not be gerund. It will be something present participle or past participle that will come in the next slide. Okay, when fourth form of the verb, that is ing wali form, that is used as a noun, that will be called as gerund. All that laughing made me cry. Laughing is what? Laughing is gerund here. Why? Because this is not used as a verb, this is used as a noun over here. Running can be good for you. Running is used here as a noun. It is not used here as a verb. That is why this is called gerund, right? Now coming to the next slide, next thing, clause. This is also something which normally you come across when you whatsoever you read in for learning English language sentence, you come across certain terms, and one of them is clause. What is a clause? Anybody from you can tell? Clause. No, I know none of you will answer. Clause is, it consists of group of related words containing a subject and a predicate. Now what is predicate? Even you do not know what is a predicate. This will come in one more slide that will come after it. For example, there are two clauses in a sentence. Although we looked for errors, this is example. Although we looked for error, we found none. Although we looked for error, we found none. Now here, although we looked for error is one clause, and we found none is an independent clause. This is another clause. Now here you come across two more further subcategories of clause. One is dependent clause and one is independent clause. Dependent clause, as it is obvious from its name, dependent clause is dependent on the independent clause. Why? Because in the independent clause, the meaning of the sentence is not clear until you join it with independent clause. Independent clause is something which can clear its meaning without the help of other clauses, right? It means a sentence is the main unit of English language, and clause is the further subcategory of the English sentence, right? This is a smaller, if sentence is a larger part, then clause is a smaller part, and clause is combination of, definitely, as you can see, a subject and a predicate. And it means कि clause, sentence is bigger, sentence is a bigger, clause is smaller, this is clause, and predicate is even smaller than that. Predicate is even smaller than a clause, right? It means you must be clear till now. Okay, sentence is the basic unit of English sentence that conveys the complete meaning. Clause is the subcategory of sentence, and one sentence can be made of two clauses. A clause can be the dependent one and independent one, and predicate is even smaller than a clause, and you will further know its meaning in the next slide. Now, what is predicate? That I told you, it makes a statement about the subject. Predicate is something like it's an adjective. The adjective tells us more or less about the noun, and predicate is something that makes a statement about the subject, right? It is something, predicate is something which is in fact, you may say, which is, you may say, the relative of subject, right? Relative of subject. It will tell us about the subject. The predicate will tell us about the subject, either this is a good or bad or any quality of the subject. The predicate consists of verb and its object, right? What is the main part? What is the part of the verb? Plus object, right? Complements and modifiers. For example, handed in my application for the job is the predicate of the sentence, I handed in my application for the job. For example, this is a sentence, I handed in my application for the job, and what will be the predicate? Handed in my application for the job is the predicate, right? Hopefully you get it. Now there are certain forms of verbs. Those are intransitive verbs. This is also a term that you normally come across. Intransitive verbs are those verbs that does not require a direct object to complete its meaning, right? It does not require a direct object to complete its meaning. For example, example of intransitive verb include growl, the bear is growling, crash, my computer crashed, and ring, the bell rang, right? This is something which does not require a direct object to complete its meaning. This is intransitive verb. And now, what is the transitive verb? Quite contrary to the intransitive verb, it requires a direct object to complete its meaning, right? For example, in the direct object, he glued the parts together, I put the file on the desk, are all example of transitive verbs. It means कि I put. This is a sentence, but put here is used as a verb, right? But this verb is not complete in its meaning. This sentence is not complete in its meaning I put is not showing what does he or she has put and what was the thing. It is not clear in its meaning. It requires an object for completion of its meaning. That is why the complete sentence will be I put the file on the desk, right? It means that transitive verbs are those verbs which require a direct object to complete its meaning, right? Clear? Hopefully girls, now hopefully you understood all of it that I told you. This is all for now. We will do some practice of translation today with you, right? Thank you so much. Allah Hafiz.